random shout-out to every die-hard purple and gold soul tuning in. What's up, Lakers News Fan Report family? If you're as hyped as I am about everything happening in Los Angeles lately, do me a solid right now. Smash that like button, subscribe to Lakers News Fan Report, and turn on notifications so you never miss a beat when the purple and gold narrative shifts in real time. Now, before we dive into the most electrifying Lakers storylines of the moment, let me set the stage. Last Sunday night, the Staples Center crowd was practically vibrating, because the Lakers didn't just beat the Oklahoma City Thunder, they dismantled them, 126-99. Yes, you heard that right. A 27-point blowout over the team with the best record in the NBA. And if you think that was just another regular season victory, think again. When everything clicked, defense, offense, heart, it became a statement. The Lakers are a legitimate threat to anybody who stands in their way. But let's rewind. Oklahoma City arrived in LA riding a wave of momentum, led by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who was the runaway favorite for MVP at the time. Their defense, top in the league. Their confidence, off the charts. Yet on that same hardwood stage, the Laker machine roared to life from tip-off. Luka Doncic, fresh off the blockbuster trade from Dallas, looked like a man possessed. 30 points, 6 assists, surgical footwork breaking down that vaunted Thunder defense like it was an open book. Step-back threes. No-look passes, effortless, drives. It felt as if Doncic had been here his entire career, and not just 2 games. Could this be the moment everyone's been talking about, where Luka's gravity on the floor shifts the Western Conference balance? 22 made 3-pointers that night, a franchise high for the season, and fans were screaming at their screens, "Is this the real Lakers?" Because when Doncic commanded attention, it meant shooters like Austin Reaves got open looks. Speaking of Reaves, he exploded for 20 points, locking in defensively on SGA and refusing to let him even sniff the free throw line, an anomaly given how often Gilgeous-Alexander usually draws fouls. Not a single free throw attempt for SGA? That's unheard of. Could this be a sign that Lakers perimeter defenders are finally asserting themselves at the highest level? Fans can't stop speculating. Is Reaves the X factor we need for the playoffs? And then there's LeBron James, the perennial king who didn't need to drop 30 points in this one. He only scored 19, but if you watched him command that defense, communicating rotations, corralling rebounds, demanding hustle, you saw a different kind of leadership. When sleek big man Chet Holmgren tried to flex, LeBron's length and IQ neutralized him, holding him to a mere 10 points. Could this be a glimpse of what LeBron can bring to a potential deep playoff run? His veteran savvy? His ability to lead without having to be the primary scorer every night? Head coach J.J. Redick put it perfectly. No panic, no overreactions, just clean execution. That mantra might as well be tattooed on every Lakers player's wrist. When fear creeps in, it's all over. But when composure reigns, the results speak for themselves. And so, with the regular season winding down and playoff positioning on the line, LA proved that their chemistry is more than just talk. It's a legitimate force. They're 48-30, locked into a top 3 spot in the West, and after defeating Denver and Houston earlier, this win over OKC felt monumental. Could this be the spark that ignites a second-half surge for the ages? But hold on, because there's another storyline twisting its way into halftime chatter. Bronny James. Yes, that Bronny James. The son of LeBron drafted 55th overall by the Lakers in 2024 amid deafening criticism. Remember how critics wrote him off, calling him just LeBron's kid or a Nepo baby? In his first 23 NBA games, he barely saw the floor, 2.3 points, 0.6 rebounds, shooting a disappointing 32.7% from the field. Sounds rough. Yet, behind the scenes, there was work being done. No flashy headlines, no viral highlight reel, just a kid grinding in the G League, averaging 21.9 points, 5.3 rebounds, and 5.3 assists over 11 games. Could this be the humble beginnings of a redemption arc? Could Bronny silence his harshest naysayers firing from deep? Fast forward to April 6th. Late in that Thunder blowout at home, the game already in the bag, and out walks Bronny James. 2 minutes on the court, and he drains a three while immediately snagging a rebound. That small moment didn't just boost his confidence, it echoed throughout the Lakers organization. Bill Plaschke, the same columnist who ridiculed the pick, changed his tune. "I was wrong," Plaschke admitted. "Bronny has earned respect by working quietly and maturing." So now the question is, how much momentum can Bronny build as the playoffs loom? Is this just a feel-good subplot? Or does this 19-year-old have a genuine future as a rotational piece in LA's quest? For Banner 18, and speaking of filling gaps, let's talk size, or more accurately, the lack thereof, in the paint. Since the Lakers traded for Luka Doncic back in February, their front court took a hit. Without Anthony Davis patrolling in the low post, opponents sensed vulnerability. That's why rumors have circled about adding a 7-foot-plus force to anchor the rim. Enter Kristaps Porzingis, a 7'2", Latvian sniper from the Celtics, averaging 19.3 points, 6.9 rebounds, and still draining threes at 40.4% from deep. Imagine pairing that kind of dimensions with Doncic's playmaking and LeBron's all-world versatility. Could adding Porzingis be the final piece that catapults the Lakers into contender territory? Or does his injury history, a torn medial, retinaculum, recurring calf issues, weigh too heavily on the risk? The Celtics might be willing to listen to offers as they juggle their own roster needs, and one potential multi-team swap could send Porzingis to LA, expiring contracts and draft picks back to Boston. It's the kind of blockbuster scenario that gets fans debating on every podcast and social stream. Could the Lakers, saddled by cap constraints, fit the money? Could Rob Pelinka, the architect of countless infamous deals, conjure the right combination of assets? Some insiders think this front office has the guts to swing for the fences. Others worry that parting with draft capital jeopardizes long-term stability. Is this a calculated risk worth taking, or a panicked move that could backfire? Meanwhile, Warriors fans are quietly monitoring this whole situation, because if the Lakers land Porzingis, they gain a truly terrifying trio: LeBron, Doncic, and KP versus Steph Curry's gravity, Klay Thompson's catch-and-shoot brilliance, and Draymond Green's defensive acumen. How does Golden State respond if their chief rival in Los Angeles upgrades even further? Could this spark a mid-season arms race in the Pacific Division with far-reaching implications for seeding and playoff matchups? Back on the chop shop floor, Lakers veterans are reportedly excited by the prospect of adding either Porzingis or another two-way big man. Yet they also caution that roster balance is key. Too many high-usage players can become a chemistry nightmare. As some insiders point out, the frontcourt minutes might shrink for players like Rui Hachimura and Jared Vanderbilt if the Lakers add another big. Could mounting curiosity over too many moving parts actually undermine the team's rhythm? And let's not forget the defense. Sunday's win over OKC was a defensive clinic. Limiting Shea to 26 points without a single free throw attempt is practically unheard of for a guard of his caliber. If that becomes sustainable when Porzingis is patrolling the paint, breakers would need to think twice before driving, knowing a 7'2" shot blocker is waiting. Could the Lakers transform from an offensively flashy team into a two-way juggernaut, capable of grinding out 105-90 wins in the postseason? But perhaps the most tantalizing part of all this is timing. With the playoffs right around the corner, every move, every rumor, every transaction matters exponentially more. Fans are rifling through mock trade proposals on Twitter, while pundits are speculating whether the Lakers will keep their draft picks or trade them all away for a sure thing. Could Rob Pelinka's next phone call to Danny Ainge be the biggest gamble of his career, or the masterstroke that ultimately brings championship number 18 home? This multi-layered saga, Luka's emergence, LeBron's leadership, Bronny's redemption, and the looming Porzingis question has made the Lakers' narrative as unpredictable as any soap opera. And as the roster shapes up, the central question echoes louder each day. Are the Lakers building a dynasty, or are they skating on thin ice with every blockbuster dream? Could the decisions made now define LeBron's final seasons? Could Doncic's trajectory be altered by sharing spotlight with another star? Could Bronny's confidence translate to clutch playoff minutes down the stretch? So, what do you think, Lakers family? With a dominant performance over the Thunder still fresh, Bronny's intriguing development, and the possibility of adding Porzingis to the mix, is this Lakers squad built for a November retirement party or a June parade? Personally, as a die-hard supporter who's watched every high and low, I believe adding another legitimate two-way big could tip the scales in our favor. But I also understand the allure of holding on to precious draft capital when star power can sometimes be fleeting. Either way, this is the most compelling Lakers story we've seen in years, and I can't wait to read your takes in the comments below. In the end, when the whistle blows on this roller coaster of rumors and playoff resignations, it comes down to one simple truth. The Lakers are at a crossroads. This team has shown flashes of brilliance, obliterating the Thunder, Bronny's, promising growth, Luka's seamless takeover, and LeBron's unwavering leadership. But the question remains, do they have enough to survive a gauntlet of elite Western Conference opponents when the lights are brightest? Let's dig into the possible scenarios. If the Lakers decide to stand pat, keeping their draft picks and existing core intact, they'll lean heavily on the chemistry they've built since Doncic arrived. That means trusting Davis to remain healthy in the postseason stretch, counting on Derek White, if acquired, to execute defensively, and betting that role players like Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, and Jared Vanderbilt can occasionally flip the switch on both ends. This approach prioritizes continuity, culture, and long-term flexibility, but it also carries serious risk. Without a true rim protector or an additional go-to scorer beyond the superstar triumvirate, the Lakers could run into roadblocks against bigger, more physically imposing playoff teams. Could the recurring absence of Anthony Davis in the paint sabotage their championship aspirations? Is it possible that, without a true backup center, opponents will exploit mismatches late in close games? On the flip side, going all in on a blockbuster like Kristaps Porzingis would reshape the roster immediately. Picture the final lineup. White or Reeves at the guard spots, LeBron orchestrating from the top, Doncic dominating matchups in the mid-range and beyond, Porzingis roaming the high post, occasionally spotting up for corner threes, and Davis anchoring the paint. Defenses would tremble at the combination of length, shooting, and playmaking this quintet provides. In crunch time, you could envision a play where Porzingis flashes to the corner, LeBron drives the lane to collapse defenders, then kicks out to Doncic or Porzingis for an open look. Alternatively, a double screen for Doncic could create a switch mismatch, freeing up Davis to roll and score. The theoretical synergy is tantalizing. Yet, it's not just on-court fit that matters. Porzingis carries a significant contract and a checkered injury history. The Lakers would need to clear cap space by sending out expiring contracts or a combination of draft picks and young talent. In a worst-case scenario, they package a first-rounder, a quality rotation player, and a role-player contract to secure Porzingis. Immediate reaction on social media would range from ecstatic cheers, "Finally, our missing piece," to frustrated sighs, "We just mortgaged our future for an aging, injury-prone big." And if Porzingis suffers a setback, like a calf strain or knee soreness during the playoffs, that gamble could backfire, leaving the Lakers thin in the front court and vulnerable against teams like Denver or Minnesota, who routinely exploit size mismatches. Still, there's something to be said for momentum. Teams that make aggressive midseason upgrades frequently carry that energy into the playoffs. Remember the 2011-12 Heat acquiring Ray Allen? That three-pointer changed the destiny of an entire franchise. Could landing Porzingis be the dynamic shift that skyrockets the Lakers to contender status? Some insiders believe that in a half season, sample, Porzingis looked rejuvenated, moving fluidly, sprinting back on defense, and even converting pick and pops with the confidence of a younger man. If he, knock on wood, stays healthy, that two-way impact could tip the balance in high-stakes series. In the end, Lakers News Fan Report fans, it all boils down to alignment. Alignment of vision, alignment of roster construction, alignment, or of timing. This franchise has tilted at windmills before, gambling on super teams that never gelled, investing in high-priced veterans whose bodies failed them at crunch time. But this year, with shooting stars like Doncic and James, and promising prospects like Bronny, the stakes feel different. There's a hunger in LA, a collective belief that the next move could be the masterstroke that returns the Lakers to the mountaintop. So let me ask you one final time, given everything we've discussed, the dominance over the Thunder, Bronny's, steady progress, the possibility of adding a big like Porzingis, and the delicate balance between draft assets and win-now pieces, what do you think is the right path? Should the Lakers risk their future for a proven star who could cement the present? Or should they trust the process and nurture homegrown talent, hoping that cohesion and chemistry carry them to glory? Personally, as someone who bleeds purple and gold, I lean toward securing a veteran big. My gut tells me that a healthy Porzingis next to Doncic and James is too delicious to pass up. But there's a part of me that also craves the long game, preserving draft capital, nurturing Bronny, and allowing this young nucleus to flourish organically. I can't wait to read your takes in the comments below. Drop your bold predictions, your hot takes, and your roster wish lists. And remember, whether they pull off a major trade or hold fast to the core, one thing is certain, this Lakers season is going to be one for the history books. If you've enjoyed this deep dive, do me a favor and hit that like button, subscribe to Lakers News Fan Report, and ring the bell so you never miss an update on this riveting saga. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time, because with the Lakers, the story is always far from over.